Hello and welcome to our latest Cambly Live session. For those of you that are just joining us, my name is Daryl. I'm going to be your teacher for the day. We're just waiting for everybody that wants to join to join. So in the meantime, please send us a message. I see some people are already doing it. Marcella Onida, hello from Italy. Fiona Gunn, hi, and Saraswati Karki from Nepal. Thank you for joining us. Please send us some more messages. Let us know where you're from so that we know who in the world is joining us today. For those of you that don't know, this is your first time. Cambly is a great online platform. It's on the web. It's on an app where you can get one-on-one lessons in English with teachers just like me and anything you need. I'll explain a little more later on. Also, please stay tuned until the very end. I'm going to give you a discount code that you guys can use to get, I think it's up to 36% off. So make sure to use that. Ooh, I see some more messages coming through. Hi from Kuwait. That's Dana Zubi from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Sydney Souza. Suklin Kaur, hi. I hope I'm pronouncing all your names correctly. If I am not, I do apologize. All right, let's go through a little bit about what we're going to do today. Then we'll give a few more minutes for everybody to join, and then we're going to start. We're doing Proverbs today. So what we're going to do first is go through what Proverbs are, what does that mean, how are they different from other parts of speech, things like idioms. Why do we use Proverbs? What's the point of them? Why should you use Proverbs? We'll even take a little bit of a look at where they come from. And then we're going to go through some fun Proverbs. Not just these, there's going to be some others as well. And please remember that today is an interactive lesson. So when we've done a proverb and we've explained it and I've given you an example. Oh, I see some more messages coming through from Nepal again and Myanmar. Again, thank you for joining us. So when I've done a proverb, I want you guys to send me an example, like a little story of when you could use this, in what situation this would be used. Also, it would be great if you guys could maybe send proverbs that are similar from your native language. Often proverbs have a lot of similarities, and it would be great if you had something just a little different. Share it with us, even if you have a proverb that's completely different but is really interesting from your native language. Please share it. And if you have any questions or anything you want to ask about proverbs or things you think are proverbs that you've heard of before, send them through and we're going to answer them. All right. Again, thanks for joining me and let's start. So the first question is, what are proverbs? Now, proverbs are a part of speech, and the big difference between proverbs and all the other parts of speech is that proverbs teach a lesson. Proverbs teach us something, or there's a meaning, a big meaning behind it. So just by saying this set of words, we learn something or we understand something from it. We get something from it. It can even sometimes help us to deal with the situation because in that proverb, there's a whole story and it pertains, it relates to our situation at that time. So proverbs are one of the only parts of speech with this special meaning, this lesson behind them. Now, oftentimes, there's a bit of confusion between proverbs and idioms. So how are proverbs different from idioms? Now, we've done idioms before, and there's been many Cambly Live sessions that have dealt with idioms from different categories. Idioms are just a fun way to express yourself. It's a fun way to say something else. One of the best examples that I always think of, one of an idiom we can think of is to be under the weather. So that is an idiom. That just means to be sick. It's a very common idiom. I'm sure you guys have heard it before. I think we've done it on another lesson as well. So it's just a fun way to express yourself. So that's what idioms are. There's no lesson here. There's no meaning. There's nothing I'm getting from being under the weather that's going to maybe help me learn or deal with the situation. So idioms are just fun ways to express ourselves. Fun, figurative ways to say something, and that's how everybody talks in their native language. So that's how proverbs are different. Now, why should we use proverbs? One of the most obvious reasons for using proverbs is, of course, if you guys are, and many of you are, if you're taking an English proficiency test, like the IELTS or the TOEFL or the TOEIC, obviously you want to sound as much like a native as possible. You want to have a high level of English. And proverbs are at that high level. So by using proverbs in maybe even your written, in your oral exams, that's going to push your English up. So you definitely want to use it if you're taking any of those English tests. And for people that just want to work on their conversation, they want to, attain that high level, again, proverbs are that high level of English, where we're telling a whole story, we're explaining a whole lesson just in a few words. So that's why you want to use them. Now, when we use them, often we don't even say the whole thing, because as you can see, and I'm going to have some even longer ones later, these are long. These are a mouthful. There's a lot of stuff happening here. So we often use of a proverb. I'm going to show you that as we go with some of these. And often by doing that or using these proverbs in different situations, we can even change the meaning of the proverb. So the proverbs are almost like there's a poetry to it. There's almost an interpretation as to what you're saying. And you'll often hear proverbs being said in maybe a halfway way in movies and television because it's a shortcut for meaning about what's happening in the scene. So those are all the reasons why we'll use them. It's a high level. It's going to show that you have a high understanding of English. There's many different meanings that we can get from it. And again, like I said, it's going to help you deal with the situation and understand what's happening. And then a final question you might have is, where do they come from? Where do all of these proverbs come from? The word proverb, the actual word itself, is actually one of the books of the Bible, of the Old Testament. So in the Bible, there's a book of Proverbs, and it was a book of teachings, a book of lessons about life. Think of it that way. Now, not all of those are the ones that we're looking at. We're not looking at really any of those, but they were teachings, lessons that people could take for their lives. And so now that's why we use that word for lessons, for ways to understand the situation we're going through. As for where the actual proverbs themselves come from, that's lots of different sources. Some of them still come from the Bible. Some of them come from Shakespeare, as we've discussed in other classes. That's where idioms come from as well. And lots of English words, they come from Shakespeare. They come from literature. They come from those kinds of places. Other proverbs actually come from older languages. Like I said, you may have proverbs in your language that are very similar to these, and English probably stole them. So that's where those proverbs came from as well. That's why I want you to share them as much as possible. All right, so we've got a little bit of understanding about proverbs. Let's look at them. Now, what we're starting with here are some very interesting sounding proverbs. And what I like about a lot of proverbs is that they are almost visual. I can almost see what is happening. For some of these, I'm going to even try to draw a little picture to illustrate what the proverb means. So how are we going to go through this? I'm going to give you the proverb, try to draw a little picture. I'm going to explain what it means and when it's used. And then again, I want you guys to send through some examples of when you could use this, different situations and different meanings that it could have. All right. So the first one we're looking at is look before you leap. Now, an easy way, an easy picture for this is, let's imagine we have a little cliff overlooking the sea. We're standing on the cliff. The sea is over there. And we got this little guy over here. He can't see this. He doesn't know. Maybe there's a tree in the way. Maybe there's a tree in the way. So he can't see what's happening. He should not, obviously, jump without looking at what he's jumping into. So that's what this means. It means look before you jump. That's literally what it means. What is the lesson that it's telling me? What does it mean, look before you jump? It means don't get involved in something before you understand what you're getting involved in. I will give you an example in a minute. So don't get involved without some knowledge. So great example is, let's say you want to buy a new house. All right. And you see this magnificent house and it's got a great price on it. And without even going inside, without doing an inspection of any kind, you say, I want it. I'm going to get it. So you are leaping before you look. What you should do is you should think about the knowledge you need before getting involved. So why is this house so cheap? Maybe the walls are falling down. Maybe the foundation is bad. Maybe the paint is coming off the walls. Maybe there are rats in the roof. So look before you leap. Think about what you're getting involved in before you do it. Get the knowledge. And you can see how this is a lesson that we can learn. Let me change my whiteboard marker there. You can see how this is a lesson that we need to learn that can be applied to many different situations, many things. Whether it's a purchase, buying something, a relationship, whatever it is, look before you leap. And how would this come up in a conversation? So we understand now the meaning, we understand the lesson. How would it come up in a conversation? So maybe now I see the house, it's really cheap, and I want to get it, and I start telling my friend, this house is amazing, it's so cheap, I'm going to get it, I'm going to make an offer today. And my friend might just say, you know what, look before you leap. In other words, it's part of a conversation. He's not telling me the whole story. He's not telling me the lesson. He's saying just those words, and from those words, I get it. I know what he means. He's like, maybe you should check it out first. Think about this first. Don't just run into it. So that's how it comes up. It's part of a normal conversation flow, and that's all that needs to be said. And I'll be like, you know what? You're right. Let me make some inquiries. Let me think about this. All right. So that is look before you leap. Start sending some examples of when other people should look before they leap. Let's look at the next one, which is proof of the pudding. And I've put in brackets is in the eating. Now, the whole proverb is this. This is the whole proverb. But because it's so long, often what people will do is just say the first one, or they might even just say, put it all together, kind of half it, and say the proof is in the eating. So you won't often get people saying the whole thing. Now, what does this mean? What is pudding? Pudding is obviously like a dessert. My whiteboard markers are not being kind to me today. So pudding is like a dessert, okay? It's like, I don't want to say it's like ice cream, but it's a dessert of some kind. It's going to be sweet, something you like eating, all right? So the proof of the pudding is in the eating. This means that maybe it looks great. You know, someone has cooked this and they put all the right ingredients into it. They made it look really great, but it's food. So really, it doesn't matter how it looks. If it doesn't taste good, it's not good. So the proof of the pudding is in the eating is maybe we need to know, besides from what it looks like on the outside, is this a really good thing on the inside? That's what proof of the pudding means. So is it really good on the inside? Let me move my little dessert drawing over here. That's a spoon, by the way. That's a spoon. So proof of the pudding is in the eating. It means, is it really good or just looks good or just sounds good? So someone could tell you, let's go back to our house story. All right, so someone could tell you, I have this amazing house for you, and it's got a pool, and it's got double garage, and it's got 3 bedrooms, and it's got this and that and the other. And you could think, wow, that sounds really, really good. And then you could say to the agent, well, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. In other words, it sounds good. Sounds good on paper, sounds good from what you're saying, but let me see it. Let me go and take a look and see if it's really what you say it is. So proof of the pudding is in the eating. Is it really good, or does it just sound good? It just looks good, but it's not really good. All right, so that's proof of the pudding is in the eating. Again, let's look at an example how it could come up. I've given you one with the agent telling me the story. Another good example for you guys that are studying. So let's say you tell your friends, or they tell you that they're studying hard, they're putting in the effort, or they've got a new idea on how to study. They've got a new program, and this program has got this and that. It's going to really help them. And you could say, well, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. In other words, the program sounds good. Really, that's got some good ideas, but let's see if you get the good results. Let's see if this is really good or it sounds good. So you can use that in, again, a lot of different situations. Let's move on to another very common one, all right? And this is, every cloud has a silver lining. So that sounds a little strange. I'm going to draw my cloud here, maybe a couple of clouds, and I'm going to draw a sun behind it, okay? Now, obviously, a cloud can be a little, is it a dark cloud? It can be gloomy. It can make you feel depressed. A cloud's not always the best thing you want. You want the sun, you want the warmth. So a cloud coming between you and the sun is going to make you feel cold. It's going to make you feel gloomy. But it has a silver lining. You can see the sun somewhere there. What this means is sometimes bad things happen. It's life. But there's always, or mostly, there's also something good that we can find from that. So an example, this is, let's think of a big example. Let's say you have a car accident, okay? And your car is totaled, okay? But you are okay. There was no damage to you at all. The car is gone. So what we could say is, well, at least you're okay. Or maybe you could even say, well, now you get to get a new car. That's the silver lining. So yes, this big bad thing happened, but we can try to find some good from that. You're okay, and you can get a new car. It's just a car. So every cloud has a silver lining. It means bad things happen. So I'm just going to abbreviate that to bad happens because I don't have a lot of space here. So bad happens, but there can be good found. So we can find something good from that. So every cloud has a silver lining. Let's give another example of when this could happen and how it could come up in conversation. Let's say 2 people break up. They were in a relationship and they break up, and someone's very depressed about that. Their friend could say, you know, every cloud has a silver lining. She wasn't the best for you. You're going to find someone better. You know, in other words, yes, it feels bad now. There's something bad that happened, but something good's going to come from this, or you're going to find someone better for you. So again, that's every cloud has a silver lining. All right, we're going to do one more, then I'm going to go to the chat and see what you guys have come up with, and if there are any questions. So the next one is, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. So a glass house, honestly, would mean a house. Boy, I need to get some new whiteboard markers, it looks like. So a glass house would be a house where you could see through everything. So if you throw a stone in the glass house, it's going to break the windows, it's going to break the house. So what does this mean? People in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. It means people that are And if you don't know this word, it's a fun new word to learn. People that are hypocrites, or this is talking about hypocrisy. In other words, it's people that do a thing, but then they judge other people for doing the same thing. So let's say someone likes to gossip. They like to talk behind other people's backs and spread rumors and make it like a soap opera. And then when someone does it for them, someone tells a story about them, they get very upset. This is wrong. How can you do this? How can you talk behind my back? So we could say in that situation that people that live in glass houses, they shouldn't throw stones. In other words, you're doing this. So you shouldn't say that someone else is wrong for doing the same thing. And that's what a hypocrite or someone that practices hypocrisy does. They judge other people for doing what they do. So I do it, but it's fine. If you do it, it's wrong. So that's what it means. People in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. So if you do it, but judge others for doing it. Whatever it is, it could be lying, it could be gossiping, cheating, stealing. It's hypocrisy. It's throwing a stone in a glass house. All right, let's go to the chat and see how you guys are doing and if there's any stories you guys can share. So what do we have here? Someone says my mic is disconnected. Let me try that again. All right, I hope that has fixed the problem. Let's carry on. Okay, someone here is from Nepal. Someone has said like icing on a cake. And that's an interesting one. I'm going to write it over here just so we can look at that. So icing on the cake. Boy, my markers are really bad today. Ooh, let me try the blue one. There we go. Kind of. Ooh. I hope you guys can read that. So icing on a cake. This is actually an idiom because it's not teaching us a lesson. It's just saying we're getting something extra. So we've got the cake and then we've got the icing on the cake and it's extra and it's fun. So it's not a proverb because we're not learning a lesson from it. We're not learning anything that can help us in the situation. Let's see what else we have here. We've got people from Saudi Arabia, from Malaysia, from Turkey. Thank you for joining us. Someone is asking, is let them eat cake a proverb? So another cake-related question. I'm going to write it over here. So let them eat cake is not actually a proverb. It's actually a quote. What they say is a quote said from Marie Antoinette just before the French Revolution, because they say, I don't know if this is really what she said, but they say that she didn't understand what poor people felt like and how their lives were. So when the poor people were rebelling and saying, we don't have bread to eat, she's supposed to have said, well, let them eat cake. Like if they don't have bread, let them eat cake. What's the problem? So it's not a proverb per se, but it's very similar because this is often used to show a person that doesn't really understand what someone else is going through. So we might use this in some way to say, well, it's like saying, let them eat cake. You don't understand what that person is feeling. So it's similar to a proverb, but not exactly like a proverb. All right, I think let's carry on. Let's carry on to the next one. So this is another long one. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. So I'm going to draw again a little picture here. So we've got our little guy. Okay, he's a hunter with a bow and arrow or a spear or something, and he's got, or even a rifle, and he's captured a bird. He's like shot it down. He hunted the bird. He's got it already. And then I'm going to draw a picture here of a bush. And these are my little birds. These are my little birds. You guys will excuse my little pictures here. But what it's saying is I've already got this one. I've got this. This is sorted out. Now, if I want to go pursue those, I might have to forget about this one and go get that one. In other words, maybe I should focus on the sure things. I should focus on the things that I have already or that I know will work, instead of chasing things that I don't know if they will work. Let me say that again. So the bird in the hand is the thing I have already. It's the thing I know is going to work, or the thing I know that I can get. The ones in the bush, I don't know if I can get them. All right, I might chase them away. I might accidentally make them fly away, and then I might give up the one that I have already. So this proverb is telling us, instead of chasing after things that you don't know if it's going to work and if you're going to get it, sometimes it's better to stick with what you have already. That's a big concept. That's why it's a long thing, but it's a big concept in this short amount of words. All right, so when could we use this example? All right, let's talk about someone that wants to win the lottery, all right, because people like that. So to win the lottery, you have to spend money, okay? And you've got money already. You've got the money, you're earning the money, you've got a job. But now the lottery, you don't know if you're actually going to win that, right? That's the birds that are in the bush. So sometimes it's better to keep your money, you know you've got it, it's worth something, than to throw it away chasing the dream of what you might get. So then if you're spending too much money on betting and on gambling, your friend might say to you, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. In other words, stick with what you've got instead of chasing other things. Another example, another example could be a job. Let's say you have a job. It's working. You know that you have that job regardless of good or bad things. But you look online and you see there are these other jobs that are available. Now, they're not yours yet, but they look great. So should you get rid of this job that you have and pursue these? No, you should think about it. Maybe stay, or at least for the time being, with the job you have before you just throw it away and chase after the others. So that's what a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush means. All right. And then pride comes before a fall. Now, pride is obviously thinking you're better than everybody. We might even say nose in the air, which is the idiom. So you think you're better than everybody, you look down on everybody. That's pride. But it could also mean that you're not willing to show that you have weaknesses or that you need help. And what does this mean? It means people that are too high and mighty, people that don't ask for help or want to make others think that they're really great. Sometimes they make a mistake. They have a problem. That's the fall. So a great example, let's go back to our house. All right, so the guy who was looking at this house, he decided this house was too small. All right, he wants a big, big, big house, right, to show everybody how great his life is and how much money he has, or how much money he wants to show he has. And so he wants to buy this huge house, and he doesn't have the money for it, but he figures, you know what, it's fine. I want that house. I need that house to show everybody, because he thinks that he's better than everybody. So he gets the house, takes a big loan, and then can't pay the loan. And then the bank is going to take the house, and he loses everything. That's the fall. So he was very high and mighty, thinking he's better than everybody, or wanting to be better than everybody, and then he loses it. And another good example there is, let's say we have someone and they're very stubborn. All right, so it's not that they think they're better than everybody. They think they know everything, or that they don't need help. So let's say they're having a problem. Let's say there's an exam coming up, and you say, listen, let me help you. Let me help you study. I have some good notes. I have some good techniques. They're going to help you. And this person is very stubborn. They don't want to admit that they need help, and they say, it's fine. I've got this covered. I know what I'm doing. And then they fail. So it was their pride. It was them being stubborn and thinking they're better that led to the fall, that led to them failing that exam. All right, let's do another one. And then I think we'll go back to the chat. So I like this one. We have robbing Peter to pay Paul. So here I'm going to draw, again, a little dollar bill. And we're going to have two people, Peter and Paul. And we take the money from Peter and we give it to Paul. So what does this mean, robbing Peter to pay Paul? This means that you don't actually have the money, or you don't have the budget, you don't have the resources. And instead of getting actual, proper, other resources from somewhere, you just move things around. And that this is going to create problems in the future. So let's say, as an example, we've got these two people, Peter and Paul, that you owe money to, right? So I owe money to Peter, I owe money to Paul, okay? Now I need to pay them both back, but Paul, I need to pay back today. So I figure, okay, I'm going to take the money from Peter, give it to Paul. Today, Paul is sorted out, but tomorrow, I'm going to have to deal with Peter. So robbing Peter to pay Paul, it means you don't have your resources, you don't have your money, you don't have enough of something, and you are just moving stuff around, and that's going to cause a problem in the future. Let's go back to our house example, all right? So the guy that bought the big house, all right, and he didn't have the money to pay for it. And so instead of, let's say he's got his car as well, which is a big car, obviously, and he doesn't have the money to pay for that either. So he takes the money that he would have paid for the car to pay for the house, and they take the car first. In other words, he didn't have the money, but he has all the things. Instead of getting extra money or doing something logical, he's creating problems in the future. All right, so that is robbing Peter to pay Paul. All right, let's go to the chat and see what you guys have come up with. All right, someone's asking if we can do a class that includes the 12 tenses. I think it's a good idea, and I'm sure our moderator will take that and suggest it to the tutors. What else do we have here? We have someone's asking what's the difference between proverbs and pronouns. It's a good question because they sound the same. They both start with the same prefix. So a pronoun is obviously words like he, she, I, they. It's a way to refer to a person or a thing. Even it is a pronoun. So obviously we're not learning anything from that. There's no lesson that we're getting from that. It's just a part of speech that we use to refer to someone. So that is what a pronoun is, as opposed to a proverb. And what else do we have? Are there any other questions? Someone's asking if practice makes perfect is a pronoun, and that is a pronoun. So let me write that one down. So easy one, but still there's a big lesson there. Practice makes perfect means that the more you do something, the better you get at it, obviously. So English is a great example, all right? If someone wanted me to give them like a short answer on how to get good in English, I would say practice makes perfect. That's it. I would give that as advice to anybody learning anything. Practice makes perfect. The more you do it, the more you practice, the more you do it, the better you get. So that is what practice makes perfect means. The more you do it, the better you get. All right, we've got a few more proverbs to do. So let me get this off the board. All right, so the next one I'm going to do is it takes two to tango. I think this is a fun one, and it's got quite a few meanings. So it takes two to tango. All right, it takes two to tango. Tango is obviously a dance. I'm going to try to draw two people dancing here. I'm not sure if that's going to go so well, but okay, I'm just going to put some movement lines there. They're dancing. All right, and I'll put like there, they're dancing. All right, so it takes two to tango. What this means, and it can have a lot of different meanings, is that it takes two people to do something. That's the basic meaning. Now, that could be a good thing or a bad thing. All right, and you'll hear this actually a lot in movies and television. It takes two to tango. So if it's a bad thing, all right, let's say two people are having a fight and they're arguing and they're shouting about stuff, and you know they're trying to blame each other, right? What you could say is, well, you know what? Someone should take a step back. If you want this argument to end, someone has to take a step back so that you can think about it, maybe get some distance, because it takes two to tango. It takes two people to make the argument. If one person says, you know what, I'm just going to go get some space, I need to take a drive and think about everything, the argument is over, at least for them. And then maybe you can speak about it properly later, because the fights will continue because both people are involved. So it takes two to tango. We could also use this for a positive example. We could say, maybe I'm talking to my friend and I'm saying, you know, I've got this great business idea. I've got this great idea, and I just need a partner. I need someone to do it with. You know, it takes two to tango. Let's do it together, right? So I'm saying to him, we need two people here to make this work. Let's do it together. So two to tango has lots of different meanings, and that's why it is actually, I think, a great proverb. So it takes two to tango. Two people are needed to do something, or to make something work or not work. So again, you guys can send through an example of maybe when it's a good thing, it takes two to tango, or a bad thing. When is it a bad thing? It takes two to tango. All right, and then this is a long one, but I think there's a big lesson here, and I think there is something in a lot of different languages that are very similar to this. So here we have you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So now this is a long story. Right? I'm going to say it again. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. I'm going to try and draw a horse here. All right, this is probably not going to go down well, but I'm going to try. I guess my whiteboard markers don't even want me to attempt to draw the horse. There we go. All right. So here is my horse. Okay. My work of art. So we can lead a horse to water, but we can't make him drink. In other words, you can give someone resources. You can give them lots of stuff. You can show them the way. You can give them everything, but they have to do it. A great example is, again, studying, because you guys are studying a lot and learning English. I can give you all of the resources. I can give you books. I can give you worksheets. I can give you video lessons. I can give everything to you. Right? I can take you to the water. but I can't make you drink. I can't make you actually take all of that stuff and learn from it. So that's what it means, all right? And why do we use it? We use it when we're dealing with the situation where we've done a lot. We're trying to help someone, and they just don't want to help themselves. So we're giving them everything. We're showing them all the things that they should do, and they're just not doing it. And to make ourselves feel better, to kind of calm ourselves down, we say, you know what? You can lead a horse to water. Oftentimes, we'll leave it at that because the rest of it is implied, but we'll say the whole one. So you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. I'm not going to make myself crazy giving you everything. You have to do it yourself. That person has to do it themselves. I'm sure we can all understand a situation like that. All right, let's do one more. One more. And we're going to do a short one. We're going to do a little one. All right. And is the green coming up? I don't think the green comes up that well. Let's try a black. Okay. So this is two wrongs don't make a right. Two wrongs don't make a right. Now, what this is saying is if someone did something wrong to you, okay, doing something wrong to them doesn't balance stuff out. It doesn't make everything okay. It's not like going to work. If someone does something wrong to you, they should apologize and you should move on. That's it. So a great example would be, let's again talk about a relationship, like a soap opera situation. So let's say the guy cheats on the girl. All right, he goes and cheats on the girl finds out, and then she goes and cheats on him. It hasn't really solved the problem, right? Those two wrongs didn't fix the relationship. All right, so two wrongs don't make the right. Another example, let's bring it down a little bit. Let's say someone breaks your something special to you. Maybe you have a special vase or a special picture frame, and they break it accidentally, or it happens. It's broken. Now you can't go break something of theirs. Doesn't really solve the problem. Doesn't really fix the problem. Problem is that person needs to apologize, and you need to move on. So that's what two wrongs don't make a right means. Well, I see someone is asking, will the class be recorded to watch later? Yes, to those of you that are maybe joined late, this class is recorded. It's going to be available on the Cambly Live playlist right after the lesson. You can go watch the whole lesson again, so don't worry about that. All right, so we have gone through 10 or more good proverbs. And like I said to you guys, I have a special discount code that you guys can use. So make sure to go to Cambly, if you aren't already using Cambly, and use the discount code GO LIVE. And you can get, I think it's up to 36%. I'm not sure, discount for that. Again, to those of you that maybe joined late and didn't hear me say it, Cambly is a great place where you can get one-on-one lessons with tutors like me in anything you need, whether it's grammar, whether it's exam preparation, whether it's business English, whether it's high-level English, whatever you need, you're going to find someone that can help you. I think there's going to be a link in the description for me as well if you want lessons with me. And I'm going to say goodbye for now. Thank you so much again for joining us on our Cambly Live sessions. Join us again, and we will see you soon. Bye for now.